Hey, Steve,
Yes, sir. How are you?
this is Johnson.
Go ahead.
I, I'm a CPA and I deal a lot with small businesses, and I invited a young entrepreneur to the meeting tonight. He's thinking about buying a business, so I thought if he did this, he could kind of reverse engineer his buying side based on what he could learn about the selling suspicion side. So I'll be interested to see if that was a good instinct.
Well, you're spot on because this class is about transitioning, and that could mean buying or it could mean selling. And whether you're buying or selling, you need to understand what the other party is thinking and how their numbers together, and all the other different ways that people might transition a business. So yes, that was great advice, and
What do you think?
we look forward to working on anyone uh, that wants to think about going in that direction. So welcome to everyone. These classes are free, and we look forward to working with you. We're sponsored by the Small Business Center at Lenore Community College in Kinston in this series, with Lee Albritton as the director there. And Lee is a great director and looking forward to helping you in any way that he can. And you're welcome to give him a call and set up an appointment if you're in the if your business is located in the Lenore County area, and he'll be glad to help you as well. His phone number is 252-208-1225. So give Lee a call and set up an appointment, and he'll help you with your business as well. His office is located at the new location of Aerospace and Advanced Manufacturing Center, just off Highway 58 in Kinston, and he also has offices downtown. My name is Steve Carver. I am in Dunn, North Carolina. It's my presentation number 1266. So thank you for joining me on my entrepreneurial journey, and I'll look forward to working with you on yours. I'm not a CPA or a lawyer, just a fellow that's been in business for 68 consecutive years and counting. I'm still doing business nationwide with a .com company, and also doing the teaching and consulting work with you and other entrepreneurs, and love to do business, love to work with you. I look forward to a great summer and fall as we move forward. The contents of my presentation tonight, put it together earlier this year based on my personal history of buying and selling companies and transitioning my company last year. So I've got personal knowledge of what we're talking about tonight. And plus I consulted with Google AI for some new and different ideas to share with y'all. So there's a lot of content that you can enjoy here, and we look forward to working with you. This class is under the auspices of the Academy of Entrepreneurs and Associates, which is a group that I have founded and been working with now for 19 years. And so first of all, I want to let's congratulate the winners and graduates from our last semester, and just mention those. Our first in class in the last semester, which we were talking about maintaining positive cash flow, is Janet Hammond up in Maryland, very active in our class and did a great job, and so proud to be able to name her first in class as we do each semester. She has the freelance tax consulting business. We had several people that moved up, advanced in their academic position, and five people go from Master 2 to Master 3 associate members. We're so proud of them, including Dr. Carolyn Jacobs over in Mebane, who's been with us for a number of different classes, and so glad to have Dr. Jacobs with us. Jennifer DeLeon is with us tonight. Hey, Jennifer, thank you for your work, and congratulations on moving forward to Master 3. And there's Sherry McQuarrie and Charlotte writing a new book now. Looking forward to seeing that come out. Also, congratulations on Master 3. Veronica, good to have you back with us tonight. Thank you so much. Over in Hope Mills, I think you're maybe having the same thunderstorm that we're having in Dunn, so good to have you on board with us. By the way, if we do get kicked offline with the thunderstorms that are coming through, I'll keep trying to log back on. So if I leave, stay with us. Come back in a few minutes, and we'll keep on trucking. Dr. Mary Young, over in Warren County, doing a great job with education type features and videos and helping people all that she can. Congratulations to Mary. Also, we had folks move up to the Master 1 Associate Membership, including Shannon King, who's with us tonight. Well, hey, Shannon, good to have you here. And Johnson Sheffield, we were just talking with, a CPA over in Warsaw. Thanks for joining us tonight, Johnson, and for your contributions. We appreciate that. And there's David as well. We got all of y'all tonight. Thank you for coming back tonight. Master 1 Associate now over in the Statesville area, helping people with roadside assistance. Also had some folks that graduated into the Academy. Of course, that was Janet with her first Academy Associate member, and also our sponsor, Lee Albritton, has earned his Academy membership as well. So congratulations to all of you. So moving on now into the future, we're going to be talking about planning for a smooth transition of your business, whether you're selling, succeeding, or you're just thinking about what exit processes that you want to do. This is an advanced course, and we look forward to working with you. This is kind of the introduction to the 5-part course. A smooth transition is not going to happen if you don't have a plan. You're not going to ever be able to sell your business or buy another business or have a good transition unless you've given it some thought. This just does not happen out of the blue. Maybe there's a miracle out there for you, but if it is, it'll be the first one I've seen. Transitions are going to happen one way or the other. People die, people get sick, you have divorces, you have people, partners have arguments such as that, and sometimes businesses just fall apart, and no one involved has a positive story to tell about it. That does not need to be the case. I can tell you that if you do some planning, even some basic planning, even now as you're just getting started, it can go a long, long way. What will happen to you down the road when it's time for those tough decisions to be made. A lot of different stages, a lot of different things to consider. And the reason the directors have asked me to put this course together is to give you all some heads up, some ideas on things to be thinking about. So when the day comes, when it's time for your business to have a transition, that it's a good thing, that you make some money, that you get some security, you get some return on your investments. If we can do that, it's certainly well worth the efforts to do it. I know that some of you are just getting started, some of you are well established in business, and we want to help you move to the next step to make it happen. You will be eligible to join the Academy, move up in achievements, receive certificates during this 5-week course. If you attend 4 of the classes, you'll automatically win a certificate of achievement and course completion just by attending the classes. And whether you do any of the homework or participate with the challenges or not. But if you want to become a member of the Academy or advance in your membership, then you'll need to attend all the classes. And you need to pre-register with the Small Business Center for the classes. Make sure that you share 5 marketable profit centers and also create your mission, vision, and promise statements. If you've already done this in previous classes, then all you have to do is just confirm and send me copies of your previous work, and that'll qualify you for your advancement. So what do we want to think about first of all? Transitioning your business usually means that you're going to sell it or you're going to buy another one and merge into it. The transitions come a lot of different ways. So we're going to be talking about the basics tonight, things that you might want to consider as you go forward. I use the characters as our folks having a good time at the beach, because of course this is beach season, and if you're thinking about retiring or how you're going to spend your days after you do retire and transition out of your business, maybe to be down at the beach with a smile on your face, and I certainly hope that is the case for you. Study guides that have already been emailed to you, and I will send them to you again tomorrow, related to this include some summaries. I'll just talk about the different ways that businesses might have a transition, sample listings of your assets, things that you'll want to be aware of. What is the value of your business? What are you concerned about? How can you show potential buyers or potential managers of the future what your vision and your where you hope the business can go? There's a lot of different types of transitions that we'll discuss, and there's a lot of challenges that we'll all face as you're going through this. I can tell you that I've transitioned now 3 times in my businesses. I've helped other people sell probably 6 or 7 small businesses, help them sell them. And in doing that, I've helped 6 or 7 people buy businesses, working as an intermediary, not a broker. I don't like to consider myself a broker, but I will consider counseling and consulting and trying to help people find common ground without trying to take a lion's share of the money, which brokers lots of times will do that. So understanding the different transitions are what we're doing. So whether you have just started your business today or whether you have been in business for years and years, the fact to remember is that we are not promised another day in business or in life. So knowing that the transition is going to come is something that catches a lot of people just totally by surprise, because they just have never even dreamed about what's going to happen when it's time for me to sell or transition out of my business. Well, I'll tell you that is a bad mistake. And after 66 years of working with lots and lots of customers and people and seeing things happen that caught people by surprise, just you having an awareness that you need to be ready as close as you can to go what's next in your business, whether it's with your family ownership or just exiting or selling the business. There is a process, a comprehensive process to go through in each phase of this transition that's very, very important. So I suggest that you take out some notes, and you're certainly welcome to use the handout notes that I'm sending to you any way you can to go this. And I think you'll find it very, very rewarding and enlightening for you. So there's a proactive approach to ensure a smooth transition of ownership. This includes planning for the expected events like retirement and the unexpected events like death or disability. We certainly don't want any of those to come our way, but we all know that the possibility is there. But if you're proactive and you're thinking ahead, then that's what you want to do. Why do you want to do this? If you've been in business a while, you want to protect your legacy. You've built something that's valuable, and you want to ensure that it continues to thrive. And if you can benefit from it, that's even better. So how do you maximize the value of your business when you're transitioning? How can you make it be worth more money or be more attractive to people? And there's things that we can do to really help that, and we'll focus on that through this series of this course. So I really encourage you to take notes and pay attention to that. Minimizing taxes. Sometimes if you don't have a plan and you're caught by surprise, when you have to transition out of your business, maybe the tax bite is tremendous, and sometimes it can just be overwhelming. That takes out every bit of the good stuff out of your profit, out of your business transition if you're not real careful. So planning ahead and having things in position can really help you reduce the tax burdens on the transfer. Continuity, you want to think that the business you built is operating good, it's moving along, you've got good customer relationships now, and what can you do to ensure that continuity will continue? I will assure you that if the continuity can continue, and you've got a good relationships with your customers and a good way of communicating with them, with your customer base, then your business is going to be worth many, many times in money the amount than if that's not the case. And if you can't say to the next buyer or the next person that's going to run your business, we're on good solid ground. You can take over today and enjoy good cash flow right away, and therefore you're not going to have to worry about that. Then indeed, the price is just going to go up. If you can prove that the business can keep on going. That was a real strong factor with me being able to sell my CarverEquipment.com, and indeed it's proven now after a year and a half that not only has our customer base rallied, but it's actually enlarged and energized with a new ownership, and they're just doing real well with it. So that's a big thing. You want to have a peace of mind where there's not a big stress factor that's on you or on the potential people that's transitioning into the business. And the way you go about setting up your presentation, the way you go about setting up your business to reduce that stress factor, that being scared of what's going to happen, is a big, big deal. So these things are not rocket science. They're not something that you need master's and doctorate degrees to understand. But I want to tell you, it's just as important as a brick mason building a strong, strong brick wall. If you're setting yourself up now with the plan that promotes a good, positive, profitable transition, then you got a chance to experience that. And on the other hand, if you're not doing it, you have very little chance of ever enjoying a good transition. So getting started in the thinking process to help you move along here, the first thing that you want to do is think about what your personal goals are. What do you want to achieve after the transition? Do you want to be full-time retired and go fishing, or do this or do nothing? Is that your goal? Or do you want to transition out of this business and let's go do some new challenges? Let's do some things that are different. I don't want to lay down and do nothing. I want to keep going on and take advantage of it. Well, that's been me. I wanted to enjoy the benefits of my customer relationships through the years, but I also wanted to keep teaching and to promote and do new things and accept new challenges. So everybody will have a different agenda depending on what their goals are and depending on what their health issues are. So we can't plan that, but we can also know that it may not work out exactly like we want it to. So how much money are you going to need at the transition point? Are you going to need X number of dollars right now to put in the bank and set up your retirement for your later years or to reinvest? What are your financial goals? Thinking about that can be so important, and that will vary a lot depending on what your personal issues are with the number of family you have, children you want to educate and look after, your spouse's security and such as that, insurances, retirement, investments, all these things come into play. And right now, maybe you're just worried about making your business work day to day, but I want to tell you, we're going to have to find some more brain thinking room to think about what if I have to sell today? What if things happen and I need to make a change? How can I set up my personal security to go on and have a good life and look after the things I need to look after? And maybe what are the goals you have for your business that you've got started now? What are the possibilities for it in the future? And do you think that maybe as you transition, as you move out of this business today, can you give the new owners, the new managers, the new investors, the vision to see where the future might go, and maybe whether or not you're going to play into that future or not. That's a big deal, and helps you think about. Well, I've started this business. I've worked in it for years and years and years, and I've got it up to this point, and it's headed in this direction. What is that direction? Are you able to explain that? Are you able to put it into words, to lay it out in a vision, so that maybe you can explain that to the folks that are thinking about buying your company? Because that will indeed enhance its value tremendously. Where do you see your company going is important. Now, let's just talk about the different types of exit options that you might have. What are the chances are that someone will come in and take over your business and move forward? Well, one possibility is maybe just a third party comes out of the blue. Just someone that's ready to get into business. Maybe they've retired, maybe they've moved to the area, maybe they're just ready to start their own business. Just a third party, we'll call them an external buyer. That's someone that has not been involved in the business before. Or maybe you have family members that have been working with you in the business, and they're ready to move up to do an internal transfer of authority or ownership with family members. So this is very difficult. This is one of the biggest challenges that you'll have. But a lot of people have started their businesses from day one with the intention, I've started this business so that my family members can take over it and move forward in the future. So that almost always means that you're not going to sell the business, or if you are going to sell it, it would be in a different way than just selling it to an external buyer, because you have the family pressures and obligations that you feel have to be met. This can be very concerning, and we'll talk about that. Maybe you have the group of employees now that have been working with you, and you want to give them the opportunity to buy the business from you and keep the business alive. It helps protect their personal security, their jobs, and the security of their families. So selling to employees is always a possible answer. This also tells you that because selling to employees is one way that people do transition out of a business, that now as you're just getting started and you start hiring employees, something in the back of your mind might be, well, do I want to hire this person now? And I've looked them over. Maybe this is a potential manager of my business in the future that might even become a future owner or a future partner. So as you're thinking about transitioning all the way back to day one, when you're hiring someone as an employee, maybe in the back of your mind, you're making notes, is this a person that someday might own this business? And then there's that possibility that maybe there's not a sale in the future. You don't see selling your business and such as that, but you do want to maybe have to liquidate it. This may come whether you want to or not. Maybe you get in financial trouble, maybe the market leaves you, maybe there's bankruptcies in here and there. So the last option is liquidation. That means you don't have very little control of what the business is going to bring to you as far as financial goes, and also what the timing of that may be. Timing is going to be a critical factor, and the more time you have to plan, the more time you have to set your business up to make it more attractive, the better off you're going to be. But if liquidation comes into you in a hurry, pretty much you're going to be, other people are going to be controlling the game. So that is the most undesirable way to go, when you just have to sell and close. So, but these are the options. There's not many more, but they'll come in different ways for you. We'll talk about all of those. Now, as we're talking about these, let me ask you, through this course, if you see that we're in an area that you think is going to affect you personally, then let me encourage you to send me an email, spell out what your concerns are with your business, any questions that I might help you get started in the process. And these are the type of matters that need to be kept confidential. I know that. So you know that oftentimes in these classes, I'll take your letters and information you send to me and share it with the class. And I will not do this with this topic. These are more personal, they're more confidential. I may use some examples of different problems people are having, but I'm not going to relate them to you as individuals to let any personal information out of the bag. But so I'd appreciate you sending me your concerns so that we can use them not to let other people know your business, but just to help other people who are maybe have the same problems or challenges that you do, that we'll do it. So we'll continue to work with you and help you, but I won't share who's sending me what, but I may share the problems that people are facing. So we do have some more people that have come on board with us tonight. And Kelly, I'm glad to see you back. We've missed you. And Mary, glad to have you back on board. And thank you so much for joining us. So as someone that's new that has never owned or sold a business, it's a tough situation to look at. But so lots of times people that are wanting to buy a business, they're on the outside looking in. And it's hard to tell what's going on. You can't get the information you need looking through a showroom window at a business that you're thinking about buying. So we have to understand not only what the buyer and the seller are needing to understand before they can make an offer or do a deal. I know how difficult it was for me on the first time I sold a business. I kind of knew what I wanted, but I was young and I really didn't have a good idea of what my goals were or should be or needed to be. So it took a lot of work. It took several years to get together. And then as I was thinking about buying some businesses from time to time, I knew what I was looking at. But for a deal to come together, both parties need to kind of understand what's on the other person's mind, what they're trying to achieve, because it's very difficult to find a common ground when you're buying a small business from a private owners. So we'll talk about that and give you some good ideas on that. So there's a point of view here for the seller, and we'll talk about that most. But everything that's related to the seller also relates to the buyer. But in this series, I don't be related to the sellers mostly because we're talking about transitioning out of a business mainly. But as Johnson said, it's important that buyers understand all this as well. And in following classes and in notes in the study guides, we'll give the buyers some good information too. So if you're selling, right now you're just thinking about, okay, my business is doing well or the business is not doing well, whatever it is, I am in the mood to sell. Where do you start? What is the basic starting line? So here we go. You ready? You might want to make some notes here. First of all, you have to make a determination that you do want to sell, that you are willing to do that. You're just not pussyfooting around with the idea. You're not just dreaming about it, but yes, I want to be prepared to sell. So a lot of people say, well, I can think about it, but I'm not really going to sell. Well, my friend, let me tell you, someday you are going to sell. All of us have a day. The train's going to leave the station one day, and we are going to have to transition out of our business. So put that in your pipe and smoke it as something, yes, I will have this in my consideration. So now the date's getting closer, and you're ready to give it serious consideration. Well, you need to do some pre-marketing homework. That is, you need to kind of analyze what's going on in the business from the marketing standpoint and get you kind of your ducks in a row a little bit. We'll dive into that deeper. You need to kind of have in mind how to establish a price on it. What is the value of this business that I'm thinking about selling, or what is the real value of this business I'm thinking about buying, and how did we arrive at that price? We'll talk about how to arrive at those prices. If you do sell, when you do sell, what are the tax implications? And this is a tough one. This is where you're going to have to get professional consideration and help. Because when you sell a business, like when you sell anything else, there are some serious consequences that come into play. And the state of North Carolina, there's consequences with their taxing. The federal government, there's consequences with the income taxes there. And your county taxes have implications with the value of the business. All this being said is the reason that in today's world, not necessarily in the history, but in today's world, when one business is sold to another, especially small businesses, usually what is sold are the assets of that business, not the book value of the business or of the corporation, but the tangible assets, the book values of it. And also, the intangible items are important as well. But it gets into very serious consideration as to where you go with that. So we'll talk about that too. But the tax consequences are very important. So you need to think about, after getting your preliminary ducks in a row, your nuts in a row, are you ready to market your company? Are you ready to put it on the market and tell the world that you're for sale? And this is a very serious moment, that you don't need to do it before you know all the facts are. So I'm going to encourage you right here. Old Papa Steve Ozen will tell you, think about this. Do some serious planning. Make some serious notes, but do not go public with it. Do not even go to a broker or a consultant getting outside a very close circle of information so that word gets out that you're thinking about selling. Once the public knows that you're thinking about selling your business, once your employees get a whiff that you're thinking about selling the business or going out of business, it gets real complicated. Employees start looking for other employment. They start talking about you. The old gossip hounds out there in the world start talking about you. Your competitors use it against you. If you're thinking about transitioning out of business, you want to keep it very private until you're ready to go public. And then we're going to take some steps, some real important steps, to make sure you stay private, and the people that are looking to buy your business, they can get some information about it, but only after you have ironclad non-disclosure agreements that protect you from people misrepresenting you in the marketplace that hurts you. So that's the reason you don't see a lot of businesses that say, hey, I'm for sale. It's because business owners cannot afford to put that information out there, because it really hurts their ability to sell, and it really hurts the value that they can get ready to go for it. But a consultant like myself, or a professional broker who makes a living buying and selling businesses, we know what to do. And if you haven't been there, I can tell you, you do not know what to do, and you need to. So take this as a free, no charge word of warning. You don't want to put your business on the market for sale until you're ready and you got everything all set up to protect your interest and protect your value. So the general presentation, that is, what am I going to say to the world when after I've got my ducks in a row? What do I need to be prepared to do? Well, first of all, you need to think about, do I have a document? What do I have in writing? What can I show to my buyer or their broker to tell about my company? So, hey, just like you're selling your product, selling your business is the same process. We go through a marketing process. So we will, first of all, have an official appraisal document. How can we appraise the value of your business, that you can look at it, you can understand it, but more importantly, that a potential buyer can look at it and understand it and get the information they need, but not the whole story with information that may hurt your ability to sell it. So that appraisal document gets real important. Now, in the study guides that I'm going to send to you, there'll be some good general appraisal documents that you can take and use and see how it applies to your business. And if you want to, if this is something that you need to move on right now, then you can take the documents I'm sending to you, they're Word files, and switch them up, start applying your information and putting together your own appraisal document on your business. Now, Johnson, you mentioned about someone thinking about buying a business. The person thinking about buying the business would have a consultant or take the appraisal document and work through this. It will work just as well for someone trying to appraise a business they're thinking about buying as one that you're thinking about selling. It's not rocket science. It's just some bread and butter information. So the document would also be good for you to have is the historical details of your company, how it got started, when it got started, what is the process and the progress that it's made through the years. Give someone some details so they know that this business I'm getting ready to buy has roots in the ground. It has the ability to stay, to be here now. It's been here in the past. There's no reason it can't be here in the future. Having an active website is going to be a very, very important plus for any business that you're thinking about selling. If you want to put your business on the market, part of your presentation is that you've already done the homework. You've already introduced it to the World Wide Web. The world is out there for you, and you've got a nice website that they can look at, get excited about, and this is like fanning the fire, kind of getting them more interested in that. Bottom line here is you are doing a courtship. You are doing a courtship. You want to be as attractive as you can to the potential buyers, and you don't do the homework that you can do to make sure you're there. The important factor is you don't do all of this before you ever go to the market. Don't go in there halfway. That's just going to hurt you, because that will show that you were not prepared. It'll show that less professionalism on your part. Do your homework in advance. And when I say in advance, I'm talking about this may be a 4 or 5, 6 year process, but at least you're building towards it now. So as you're thinking about doing these things, is the business located at home? Do you have an office rented? Do you own property? What are the possibilities for this property? All the options that come with location. You want to think about that. With your signage and such as that. Maybe here's a good example. You're thinking now, okay, Steve, I'm getting ready to put up a sign at my business location at my office, and I want to put up a sign that not only says that I'm in business today, but if you're thinking about transitioning one day, you want your messaging to say, we're here today and we're going to be here for a long, long time. We are a business for the future. You see how that message will have a positive impact on someone that's looking at your business and thinking about buying it? Let's say a buyer's coming into town and they see your business and they see 3 or 4 more businesses just like yours, same type of businesses, but yours is the one that's talking about the future. The rest of them are just talking about today. Well, if I'm a buyer and I'm coming into town, the one I'm going to look at most favorably is the people that's thinking about the future, because that is me. So you have to get in their mind. You have to think like the buyers are thinking, and such as that. So a lot of businesses now, people say, okay, I want to sell my business. I want to move forward. I want to get out of this business. I want to do something else. But do you have the authority to sell your business? Now, sometimes you think you do, but until you consider the fact that maybe you're a LLC and you have partners in here that have stock in the business that maybe total up more than yours, or maybe you can't sell it without their approval, or maybe you don't want to sell it without their approval, or maybe the question is, I want to sell it because of what I'm dealing with in my life, but my partners or my investors don't know this, and they want to keep on going. They don't want me to make a change. Well, this is a real good reason why slices of life get involved here, that you want to get all your ducks in a row before you ever go to the market. I had some people come to me interested in buying my business a few years ago, and we moved way down the line in our negotiation to coming up with how much money they're going to pay for deposits and such as that. And then I learned a valuable lesson because I asked a question, where is the money going to come from? And is it ready to be made now? And does anyone have the ability to stop our deal? And they didn't give me the answers to that question until I asked them. And when they answered them, I knew we had a bucket of trouble because there was a problem with each one of those questions. So we spent months talking back and forth, wasting each other's time when they weren't ready to buy. They just thought they would like to do this and were just feeling it out. Well, you don't want people to abuse your time and effort and get your hopes up and spending a lot of time, because when you're wasting time with someone else, other potential buyers are moving on. So you ask the right questions up front. So that's why number 6 is here. You square up real fast on, are you ready to sell? Do you have the authority to sell? And on the other side of the fence, do the people that's taking up the time talking to you, do they have the authority to buy and the money to do it? And this little footnote comes in. There's going to be a point when I have to say that it's almost always a third party, someone that's not the buyer or not the seller, working out some of these questions will be very beneficial for you. And it's really hard for a small business owner to work directly with a small business buyer and be able to get through the process without it falling apart, because there's just so many opportunities to have a train wreck. And someone in the middle, a counselor or a broker or a consultant, can really make a lot of difference for you in a positive way. So let's talk about advertising and marketing now. We have moved to the point in our theoretical process here that you're ready to say, okay, I'm ready to go for it. I don't do this thing. So you've got your appraisals done. You're ready to go. So now it's time to go public, and you want to have a way to for people that are interested in buying your business to find you. You really want them to find your agent or your consultant or your email address or something, because you don't want to immediately say that ABC Company Incorporated is for sale to the world. You do want to say that a very progressive home improvement company in the Raleigh, North Carolina region is for sale. You see the difference? You want to advertise what you have to offer to the potential buyers without identifying yourself to the general public. And when that potential buyer that has an interest in buying a business like you have comes to you and wants more information, then they're going to come to your agent, your counselor, or whoever's protecting your identity, and then they're going to pre-qualify them, find out if they're serious, if they have the means, what they're looking for, what their general goals are. The same kind of things that we've been talking about here. They're going to pre-qualify them actually without ever giving them your name and your specific location. Then once they get the general information, even right down to the point of the general pricing, then after a real serious non-disclosure agreement has been signed. So what does that mean, real serious? That means that these people are going to say in writing, notarized and sealed, with a deposit, that they're not going to disclose any information that they're receiving about your business to anyone. And if they do, it's going to cost them some big bucks. And it's in writing, it's sealed, it's legal. Non-disclosure agreements about businesses are very, very serious, and you can put teeth in them. And it is a must. It is a must when you're talking about selling your business. So now we've got our prospects coming in. We want to be able to say to the customers once they qualify that Where are you going to advertise your type of business? On the internet, there's a lot of places to do that. Trade magazines, newspapers, publications, lots of different ways to advertise your business. Now, where you don't want to advertise your business for sale is on your website. You don't want to advertise it on your website. You don't want to give that information away to the public that this website or this business is for sale. After the non-disclosure agreements are in place, then that's a different factor. So I'm ready to make the decision to sell. I've got my ducks in a row. I've got my numbers kind of together. How much money are you going to spend to sell your business? How much money are you going to spend to sell your business? You don't have an advertising budget, commit to doing so, or are you going to pay a broker a fee to help you sell your business and let them do the advertising? Well, there you go, right there. It's an important factor. I have a problem recommending that you do business with a broker. And not that I don't like brokers. I do like the individuals, but I just don't like the fact of seeing a small business give up 15 to 30% of the sale value of a business, which sometimes represents a lion's share of the profitability that's left after a sale. If there's any way for you to hang on to more of your money, I'm all for you doing it. So therefore, I would suggest that you determine how much money is going to be spent marketing your business. You set up a reasonable budget, and in today's world, you can do it very inexpensively. But at least know there's going to be some cost involved, and put a dollar figure there so you're not caught by surprise. That's just good planning. It's a major part of your planning. All right, so we move forward now. We're up to thinking about, let's go public with this thing. How can I be ready? I'm encouraging people to make me offers. How can I be ready when the right buyer comes along? What's just the minimum things that we need to do? First of all, when the buyer comes along, if a good, serious buyer is coming along and they've got the money to do it and they're motivated, they've probably got your business and several others are considering which one are they going to jump for. Because they know when the timing's right, that timing is everything. So be ready for a short period of time. Usually selling a small business can drag out for a long time, but the longer they drag out, the less the possibility is for it to come together. In my personal experiences, I sold a business that took a year and a half negotiating time, another year on another one, and 2.5 years on the last one. So each situation is going to be a little different, but I went into those knowing where I was at, because if they had made the right offer, I would have been ready to move right then. The time that was spent was negotiating to the point for us to find common ground. But I want to encourage you to say, if they come with the right money, with the right terms, I want to be ready to jump on it. So, and you will need to have those figures and that thinking in your mind. Now, what about the cash? Do they have the cash now? At what point in your life are you ready to make the move? And at what point in your life will you need this money? And are you going to need permission from anybody else to make the deal? Does your company have a long-term debt with the SBA or someone else? Or you don't have a debt that's got to be paid off? And do you need to touch base with these lenders before you make any deals with anyone else, just to see what strings might be attached? You want to pre-position yourself to negotiate. That means already have your plan. As we talk about in our negotiating classes and other lessons, pre-planning, preparation is everything to do with a successful negotiation. And then know how to recognize a good offer when it's on the table. Know how to take advantage of a good offer, and know that just because it's a good offer, our negotiating classes teach us to, okay, here's an offer that I can take, what is the counter offer I want to make? This is when the best negotiation starts. This is when you prove your worth, when an offer it comes on the table that you can take, that you feel good about taking. It meets your goals. But to do yourself justice, how do you respond to that? How do you counter that to up the ante a little bit? To move that offer higher so that you're going to get more money for your investments, your time, and your company. How are you going to get more money for it, and do that without turning off the buyer, without having them run? And there's certain ways to do that. Very good ways, very positive ways to do that, and I want to teach you how to do it. And so I like to call it pulling out your secret weapons to improve your money that you get at the end of the day. So I want you to know now that most small companies that are sold for fairly large dollars, if you expect to get all the money that you want, then probably the buyer is going to get all the terms that they want. If you're willing to finance, if you're in a position to finance some of your sale, your chances of closing the deal probably just doubled because the people that are buying a company for a substantial amount of money will really appreciate the fact that if the seller is willing to do some financing there, that they will have less problems with other lenders and have a chance to move forward with the deal. It's a two-edged sword. Maybe by agreeing to do some financing of your companies when you sell it, you're going to end up getting a lot more money for your company, but you're not going to have all your money in advance. And if things go south, then you may not end up with any of the finance money. So there's risk involved here. And as we talked about in previous webinars, this is where your documentation plays a major role, and having teeth in your documentation to make sure you've got good security for the amount that you're financing, and or that you're holding on to the ability to take back over the company or a portion of it if things are not fulfilled right, and therefore you're back in the saddle and other people are just out in the cold. So it's really important that you think about if you want to do some seller financing with good interest rates, with personal guarantees, of course, the right kind of liens or collateral, and the right types of documents that have been perfected and properly recorded legally to protect your interest. Again, if you want to get the big bucks, then you're probably going to have to offer owner financing. If you want to get the cash on the barrelhead, then you're probably going to have to do some serious negotiating and end up with less money than otherwise. So what information will you have to share with a potential buyer? And if you're buying, what information do you want from the potential seller? And indeed, they may say, that's none of your business. You don't need to know that. Well, you do need to know it, because all these factors are important to the buyers and the sellers. Very important. And indeed, they're important enough that you need to agree to protect your information, your private information. Because some of it may not be so hot. But from the buying standpoint, you have to agree not to share this information with anyone else in your non-disclosure agreement. So how about your credit history as a company, as the business you're in? Do you have good credit with the people that you're dealing with? This is so important, that you've paid your bills through the years, you've got vendors that like to do business with you. So when the new owner comes in with your blessings, when the new owner comes in, that your creditors, your present creditors, will be more likely to extend credit to them as well. Talk about your sales history. You're going to be willing to sell or to share your sales history for previous years with the new buyer. What are your existing assets, and what assets are you selling? What assets are available to be bought? What assets will you give the buyer options to buy or to sell? They may not want them all. How about your operating cycle? How does your business do business? What is the cash flow? What are you doing seasonally? What's important for a buyer to know about bad cash flow times and goods such as that? What is the evidence that you have goodwill in the community, in the region? Show some evidence of people that love you. Show some evidence of your raving fan customer base. Show some evidence of things your business has done, participated, contributed to the community, made contributions. What's evidence of your goodwill? It's kind of like you can say, hey, I've got goodwill. I've been here for 50 years. That's a lot of goodwill. Well, it's not. It's not necessarily. But when you can show evidence that you've made contributions to local churches and the Chamber of Commerce, that you have helped every time the community has needed help, that you provided services free of charge. In other words, you've been a good member of the community and well respected, and you can show that you are active in the church and such as that, you've got evidence of being a good member of the community. You just can't say that you've got goodwill. You have to kind of prove it. And there's lots of ways to do that. And now here's my business today, my friend. You're thinking about buying it. And I've got it to this point, and I would really like to expand it here and expand it there and do this more and this more. But really, this expansion needs to be done by the new buyers. But here are the possibilities and basically what it would cost and what you can achieve. This is where you use your dreams of expansion to increase the value of your company. Yes. Now, on the other hand, if you're buying a business, you're buying a small business, and you looked at all these factors of the place you're thinking about buying, then these expansion possibilities are something you're going to keep to yourself. But you're going to be looking for that. Are there expansion possibilities, and how might it work? And as you're getting that information from the potential seller, you want to do it in such a way not to have them jacking up the price as you're telling you that stuff, but you in the back of your mind maybe increasing your interest in buying this because you know the expansion opportunities are there for you. That's a huge, huge factor, especially in the changing world of today and the power of internet sales. So who are the potential buyers? We talked about them earlier. Whether they're insiders, that's people that's already familiar with your business. There's family members, managers that you may have, and it may be some employees. I like to call all these potential buyers the frogs. It's the people jumping around, looking at this, looking at that, just kind of jumping around as potential buyers. So they are people that, number one group of buyer may be the financial buyers. Now, the financial buyers may be someone that you don't know at all, but just folks that are buying companies to improve their investments. And they're going to be interested in cash flow. No matter how big or how small your company is, if it has good cash flow and showing profitability, someone will have an interest in buying it. Maybe you just have individuals of companies that have a lot of money that they just want to invest in another company, safe investors. So thinking that nobody will want to buy my business. And a lot of small business owners just have that mindset. Well, you know, it's mine, it's my family, it's my little town here, my little thing. No one has an interest in buying this business. Wrong. If you've got a business, established business with customers that is anywhere close to profitable, then someone will have an interest in buying it. Let me just tell you that right now. Okay? There may be people that are getting out of large companies like the big corporate companies that have done a reduction in force, or maybe someone's just retiring. These may be former executives that have a great big bank account and would like to invest their money in their own company, have something for themselves or something to start for their family. That's a group of people that's out here. I sold a business once in that situation. There may be holding companies that just want to own a certain number of certain types of business, like Veronica, like the business you're getting started. There might be holding companies or larger corporations that would like to have a group of those type of companies. And then there's the financial buyers now are going to be real interested in your financial statements. They're going to look at your assets real closely. So you're going to want to make sure you keep your records good and clear and easy to understand. That's your financial buyers. Now, then there's a group of people I like to call strategic buyers. They're after buying a company that fits into their long-range business plan. And maybe, Johnson, that's where your client is coming from. Maybe they have a certain type of business now or a certain kind of interest, and they want to buy a small business that kind of fits into their long-term plan, that they can use what it is today and then change it into something that will help them progress in the future. That might be like someone, a large farmer in livestock, and they may have an interest in getting into the farm equipment business, for example, because it's the extension of what they're doing. Or maybe possibly getting into rental companies and renting the types of equipment that they're used to doing. And maybe they already have a customer base there. So it's buying competitors, it's buying a similar company in another region, it's buying related companies to what they're doing now. So those are strategic buyers. And in Eastern North Carolina, this is a major thing that's going on. There's a lot of strategic buying going on. One company buying another, merging several companies together. So a real small company the owner of it may think that nobody's interested in my business, but indeed, there may be a lot of interest out there and you're just not aware of it. So let's consider now the offers that we would put together. How do we put together an offer to tell someone else what we want for our business, what we want? Well, first thing we have to do is to list our priorities. What do we want to achieve by selling? What is the net things? And let me tell you, this is an important piece here. It's easy to say it, but when you actually start writing it down and answering these questions, it's going to take you some time to think about it. It may take you several months. So what are the priorities? Have a list of the absolute requirements that you have no interest in even talking with anyone unless they're willing to come through with blank, 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 and blank. What's the minimum requirements to even start a conversation? How much cash do you need and how much financing can you do? You need to know that going in early. Where is the buyer going to get the money? You need to know that the buyer is real and has the financing or the resources to make this happen and talks very seriously about it. Now, you indeed are going to say to them, you're not going to disclose any of their information either. And then if the buyer is coming to you and ready to make a deal and they're telling you that a lender is going to loan them the money to buy your business, that lender, if they're in business doing this, knows that they're going to need to give you a letter that says, I have worked with this individual, I have looked at the offer to purchase that they're making, and I'm willing to fund it as soon as you, within 3 days after getting a document authorizing the sale. So just them saying I've got financing lined up, that sounds good. But before you make a commitment or a final offer in your negotiation, you want to see a letter from that lender certified, and also then after you get that letter, probably call them up and talk to an individual so you know exactly who's saying this, that it's real. And the last company I sold, I got those letters from the bank and from the lending opportunity. The buyers had 2 lenders, and I indeed got it in writing from both of those lenders that the funds were ready if I decided to take them up on their offer. So that's really important for you. And you really don't need to get excited about, hey, I got a deal here that's going to work, until you have that assurance. Now, let's say that they don't have lenders, but they say they've got money in the bank. Well, indeed, you get the same kind of letter and saying from the banker, your potential buyer has deposited into escrow account X amount of money that can be executed and transferred to you as soon as y'all agree on the purchase. So even if they're saying that I'm going to use cash I've got in the bank, then you want to confirm with the banker they have put that money aside and are ready to make the deal, and it's not something that can be just taken away at any moment. Now, I say to you, everything can go wrong sometimes. People can have serious heart attacks or catastrophes or something might happen on your end. So there's never 100% guarantee, but you're doing all you can do that, and unless something super unnatural comes along, your deal can go through. A lot of safeguards you can take. And I'll tell you right now that so many people do not take these safeguards and end up big time disappointed. It costs them a lot of money and a lot of heartache. So take this information seriously. It'll just save you a lot of pain and suffering down the road. Doing a business deal, like doing so many other deals, it gets down to negotiations. It gets down to finding common ground, and I like to say making compromises. Indeed, if you use the old adage, I don't get my price, but it's probably the other person's terms that you're going to have to deal with. So if you're insisting on getting all the money at closing, you're probably going to have to do some compromising on the price. But on the other hand, again, if you're willing to finance part of the deal, you'll probably get a higher offer. The more flexible on the terms as you can be, the closer will probably realize the top dollar of their business with the more flexibility. So just always remember that's the case. So the buyer and the seller must know the answer to these questions. The buyer and the seller must know the answer to these questions. Which assets will go with the company if it's sold? There needs to be no doubt about, on the sale agreement, you get these assets. You do not get these assets. Everything needs to be spelled out, so there's nothing misconstrued. Do you have contracts or work in progress in the business that will go to the buyer? Can the buyer buy business in action, in progress? Usually that's not the case, but sometimes it is. And if it is, it can be an important part of your business. And if you have an important contract with a customer that's bringing in cash flow right now, and then the buyer will really like that, and the buyer will need to pay you for that. Now, indeed, the buyer may indeed not want to pay you in advance for a contract that's 2 or 3 years still running in progress. So how do you deal with that? Well, indeed, you can spell it out that on this particular contract, the buyer will pay X amount of money per month based on the income from this ongoing contract. So you can still tap into that as a resource for you. Are you just going to be selling company stock or not? Usually in today's world, usually it's not, but it could be a factor for you. How much of the purchase price do you want to receive at closing? How much of the money do you want to flow into your account, which means it becomes taxable income to you at closing, versus maybe staggering this out for a period of time for tax purposes or for other purposes? This is where your accountant comes into play. Different kinds of sales might be a cash sale, an installment sale, or an earned out sale. That is, that it's paid out over a period of time. Are you going to remain involved with the company? Is the seller saying to you, I want to buy the company from you, but I want you to stay on board doing this, this, and this? And if that is the case, do you want that? And if you do agree to it, what's it worth to you? It needs to be spelled out. So you can see how important these questions are. Now, if you're buying a company, all these come in play because all these might be negotiating factors that help you find common ground with a buyer. So in all situations, there's always that surprise, that roadblock, that train wreck. And in the world of business negotiations, we call those contingencies that you just can't see coming. But through the years, there's contingencies you can see coming. And the number one is, after all the talk's been done, if cash flow cannot be established, if cash flow cannot be proven that the company can maintain positive cash flow, then there's going to be a problem in closing that deal. And it's going to hurt the value of the sale a lot. Now, indeed, maybe you have struggled with cash flow through the years, but you still maintain the business. That doesn't mean the business has no value. It just means it doesn't have as much value than if you can establish that you've got good cash flow practices. Hence, start thinking about it now. You've got several years, many years to get your cash flow situation in a better shape, so that at the point in time that it comes that you're trying to sell your company and the cash flow does look good, don't be worth a lot of money to you. No extra charge for this valuable tip, but it can put a lot of extra money in your pocket, and I'll be just as happy for you as I can. So cash flow is always going to be a part of what we're dealing with. Positive cash flow is a good thing, negative not. What's another deal breaker is turnover. Are you maintaining a real large inventory, have a lot of money involved in inventory, but turning it over real slow? It's not creating a lot of cash flow now, but it's sucking up a lot of money because you've got a large inventory. That's going to be a problem. We all know you can't sell from an empty basket. And indeed, a new buyer may look at your inventory being so low and say, well, no wonder you're not selling much stuff. You don't have enough inventory to meet the demand. So that's a big factor. If you're buying, you want to consider that carefully. So what's the time frame that this company is doing between the time they buy it and the time to sell it? What is the inventory turnover? So if it's slow, that's going to hurt the value of your company big time. But a smart buyer may see what you're doing and say, well, I can see their problem. If I start buying differently, bring the inventory in at better times and sell it quicker, then this company that's not making much money now has got a good chance of making a lot of money in the future with my leadership. So think about it from both sides of the fence, but inventory is a big, big deal. Payments, deal breakers. Are you making your payments on time? Have you had trouble keeping a good credit reputation? Your personal credit history is big time, especially the owner of the company. I don't want to buy a new company and come into a community where people have not been paying their bills and have a sour reputation, credit reputation. I'll have an uphill fight from day one, and a buyer knows that. So if you're thinking about selling your business, you want to clean up any old debts that you got. What are the availability of the product lines and contracts or leases to you? You know, to a buyer, you don't have to satisfy that the business is going to be there for them. In selling one of my businesses, I actually took my potential buyers around, took a trip to the vendors that I've been buying from through the years, introduced them to the potential buyer, and told the vendors I was coming. And I had them to be prepared to tell my buyer where they would or would not give them the same product lines and pricing that I've been enjoying. Thankfully, they all did, and it was a huge factor in me being able to close the deal. So give that some consideration. What's the environmental impact of your business and your studies? Is your company in a good position to talk about environmental issues or not? And what are those things all about? And there's such a big range of factors with chemicals and animals and spraying and heat and emissions and all this. So depending on what your company is, I just group it all into what are the environmental issues involved with your company and how's that going to affect you when it comes to time to closing a deal. Deal breaker, if someone is not willing to sign a non-disclosure agreement with teeth, which means it's legal binding, put up some money up front with a deposit for a certain number of time. If they're not willing to make a 100% commitment to protect your information, then just tell them to hit the road, Jack. This ain't going to work. Okay? There is no option there, no matter how attractive they're talking about. If they're not willing to do a non-disclosure and giving you the information you need about where the money's coming from, who their partners are going to be, then you just need to move on, tell them to hit the road. And one of my sales early on, 25 years ago, I was selling a company, and the buyers came to me. They had the money, and they said everything was set up. And I knew this person was very much involved in other businesses. And I said to him, now, I want to know who's going to be running the business, who's going to be working my employees, who's going to be serving my customers, who you see as the manager of the company after I sell it. And they told me. And this company was just, this fellow was a crook. He was just out of prison. He had an awful reputation of being a swindler and a crook and bad credit. And while the people thinking about buying it, they trusted in him, loved him, but I sure as hell didn't, excuse the French, and was telling me, look, this just ain't going to work. If he's going to be a part of the new ownership, then y'all need to go find another place to buy. And that was hard to do, especially at the last minute when I had my hopes up of closing the deal. But there's a time you don't want to give your customer base, you don't want to give your employee base a new situation to deal with someone that already has an awful reputation. Animals don't change their stripes, especially in business. If people have been in bankruptcy 1 or 2 times, they don't be in business 10 or 12 times. If they've screwed people for 15 years, they don't screw them for 60 years. If they've been bad and mean to their employees, anytime they're going to continue to do that because it's in their nature. You want to find people that's going to protect your legacy and look after your reputation as you go on, especially if your company name is going to go on with them. So people may disagree with what I'm saying, but it's old Steve O's opinion, and that's what you're getting. So the non-compete agreements, that is to say, you're going to say to this new buyer, if you buy my business and pay this price we've agreed on, I'm not going to open up another business and be your competitor tomorrow. And they need that assurance, so they're going to ask you for a non-compete agreement. Non-compete agreements get a lot of traction. People talk about they can't be applied, they're not legal, they're not this and that. Well, they are moral, they are ethical. And indeed, if you're going to say to someone, give me your money now and I don't help keep up with my promises, you should do it. So I say you treat non-compete agreements as if they're as real and as legal as they can get. You list down the exclusions, you take the time to protect your interests, you read the fine print very carefully, because whether or not they're enforced, they indeed can cost you a lot of money in court fighting them. So make sure you understand the agreements and be very specific with what you're after. Non-competes are extraordinarily important. Bargaining chips. We're down to working through those final details where most deals fall apart before you can come together. So let me tell you that in my experience, and brokers and consultants in general private conversations will tell you that it's really hard to close a deal. It's really hard to do a transition. And maybe let's say that 100 people make the effort and actually get a buyer and a potential buyer and seller together. Of the 100, maybe only 15, maybe only 20 actually end up doing the deal. That's how hard it is. However, if proper planning has been done and you got a good middleman in the middle helping the two parties find common ground, that moves on up to about 50%. So that's why it's important to think about it. So what can help bring the people together? One, if the seller is selling, maybe there's an employment opportunity that the buyer might be able to offer to them in some way, some type of job that works out. Maybe there's some exceptions that need to be made on what they're doing, or maybe there's some exclusions that need to be taken away. But if there's some compensation there, it needs to be spelled out. And then what will cause our agreement to go apart? Showing the seller that you're willing to find a room for them in the new company and pay for it may get the price way down, or may give them the encouragement to go forward. So look for seller opportunities there. Or maybe some not employment opportunities, but some benefits you might offer to the seller that you can pay for with your company money, and the seller can take advantage of it. It might be some insurance plans for them, some life or health insurance issues, maybe providing some vehicle or some support services, maybe to offer some travel expenses or some trips or some of the perks. So maybe in the deal itself package, you've got a fixed number that the buyer just can't take, but when you offer some incentives, things start looking a whole lot better And this is where a mediator can help you find common ground. I always like this part. We call it kissing the frogs. Because when you're selling your business and you're talking with people that are coming by wanting to do this, if you ever put anything on Marketplace at Facebook, you've got a lot of frogs to kiss. People are wanting to know this. Can you take less than that for it? What's the deal here? There's a million questions to be answered. And the frogs are going to come and they're going to ask a lot of questions. So who is going to kiss the frogs? Well, first of all, a buyer and a seller will have a hard time getting together going through these zillion questions because you'll start splitting hairs on every nickel dime matter. And that process usually creates anger or anxiety. And finally, you don't like each other and you don't want to do business with each other because you've tried to go through this process splitting hairs. This is why someone in the middle, an agent or a consultant, can really help you. It brings on a lot of extraordinary pressure and stress. Most parties are having life-changing decisions to be made, and with all the questions and the paperwork and phone calls back and forth, it gets very stressful, very problematic. Again, someone in the middle can sort through all that and keep the waters calm. And then if you have leakage out to the public that you're thinking about selling and your employees start giving you problems with it, the chit-chat gossip kicks in, that's a big, big deal. So you want to make sure you've got that non-disclosure agreement and someone you can trust as your consultant or your agent. Now, there's some secret weapons for you that are very, very important. And secret weapons for the sellers are remember the value-added factors that you might have, the expansion possibilities, the things that you might be able to do to help with tax avoidance, and exposure planning are important. Maybe some perks for the buyer to retain after the sale. So look for those secret weapons that you might be able to have offered. Now, one of the best secret weapons that I know of I can offer you right now, and this has helped me on several occasions, and I know has helped some other people really come up with the possibilities of what their potential selling price might be based on historical. Flippa is a website, flippa.com, flippa.com. This website is all about buying and selling small businesses nationwide. But the greatest tool that they can give you is they will give you free evaluations of the fair market value of your company. You answer a few questions, you send in a few forms, and indeed they will give you negotiating tips for sellers and buyers. And then if you want to hire them, give them a piece of change, but you don't have to. They will actually advertise your company nationwide for sale and protect your interest in doing that. So I want to encourage you that if you're interested in buying or selling, that you visit this website, Flippa. Now, I've visited a lot of websites through the years, and this one, as late as last year, made a major contribution for me in helping evaluate the fair market value of my company. And I know that they've done that, but for a lot of people, because I got the recommendation from a good friend who has done several businesses. So this is a good piece of advice that you want to remember, the website Flippa, to help you determine your fair market value. Keep the option open for broker services. Again, I'm not pushing anyone, and I suggest that you go with a consultant or an agent that's not hit you up for a large percentage of your business, but maybe will work for you on an hourly rate or a flat rate. Next Tuesday, what's my business worth? How to go about appraising your business. It's a very interesting program. I'm sure that you'll enjoy it. You want to think about what makes your business thrive without you. And knowing that, it will help you appraise your business because you'll start looking for the things that help the business do that. So what's my business worth? What can I think I'll get for it? And if you're on the buying side, if you're thinking about buying a business, you'll take the same information and apply it to the company that you're looking at to see how much maybe you would appraise that business for. So I want to tell you, there's a greatness in you. You can achieve incredible things, and I want to work with you to bring vision to your life. Alone, we can't do but so much, but together we can do a lot. So let me say to you, God bless you and your family. And I hope you enjoyed the program tonight, and I look forward to seeing you right back here next week. And we'll keep this process going on. Hello, everybody. I'd appreciate your comments if you'd like to sign on.
Thank you, Steve. This was an excellent class. Where will the recording be located?
Jess, I didn't understand you. Say that again, please.
I said this was an excellent class, and where will the recording be located?
Okay, good. I look forward to sending it to you tomorrow.
Thank you.
Thank you, dear. Hey, good to see you, Veronica. Thanks for joining me in the car.
You're welcome. I'm kind of on the move today.
All right, you're on the have you run through a storm? Have you been in a storm?
No. Just had a late client, and then I had to pick my daughter up from work, and yeah, I've been busy this afternoon.
Very good. Well, thank you so much. And hey, Sherry.
Thank you.
Yeah, you too. Take care. Hey, Sherry, how's things in Charlotte tonight?
Storming.
There's David again. Hey, David.
It's storming in Charlotte on North Tryon Street.
All right, good. Well, thanks for joining us tonight, all of you. I hope you have a great evening and look forward to working with you. I'll be sending you lots of information. Take this serious. Just get in the process of being ready to take advantage of a transition when it comes for you. Y'all take care. And that's like they said on Walton's Mighty. Good night, John Boy.
Good night, everybody.
Y'all take care.